There's a necklace that I designed. That is for if you're out and about, it will transcend entities so you don't pick them up. But the hard thing with talking about entities in that way, entities need an attachment mechanism, right? And so when I do healing work for people, it's about bringing someone back into more, it's like sovereignty. It's almost like they can't be interfered with. It's a real process to do it because people have so many holes or flaws, or I don't know. It's all our insecurities, it's all our fears, it's all of these things. And um, if I'm working with somebody, I'm always kind of looking at those things. But again, even children, it can be hard because some people are energetically really oversensitive. So it's like energetic boundaries and stuff like that, right? Um, Depends on the level and the severity of like the interference. Some people will have more of an issue than others, to be honest, at times. So that necklace I designed, that is fantastic for wearing it, and it transcends entities. The house, I do house clearings as well. So put protection around it. It's almost like nothing can influence it in the future. And saying that, people could have things obviously attached to them. So it depends if it's a personal thing or a house thing. But when I looked at your survey and we talked about things and, through the healing process, sometimes I will clear people's properties as part of the program if I see that it needs. So it's almost like your daughters still had quite a bit of interference. So I wanted to make it a nicer environment for you to be able to heal more, for one thing, but also to support, your daughters. And there was a lot of interference in your house. So moving those things will help in a sense about what you're talking about, because those things would have heightened it, but they would have held energetics and held trauma in place, replaying over and over, right? So you remove those things. It doesn't mean that suddenly people have their stuff that needs to come up
Mm.
and work through, but it means you're probably making headway and progress on the
Yeah.
working through stuff, which is really great. I've seen some people that get really funny and they start really like saying all these mantras to protect themselves, right? And in there, it's actually worse because they're feeding into the fear. It's almost like with entities, they really can't do anything to us unless there isn't that attachment mechanism. So somebody's fear or relaxing, it's almost like even that is a protection. Does that make sense? So it's hard because sometimes I want to talk all about these things because they're really real, but at the same time, I don't want to make people more into that fear side or that fear zone. Your house is fine. Yeah. Your daughter's stuff, I want to say grief coming up, is just there'll be levels and layers to it and it will
Yeah.
be a progression. But it's almost like the house needs to be that safe haven with nothing else that interferes, that it's like this place that people can re-regulate. That's really important with that private space. Um, But going out and about, especially if you go somewhere where there's like a lot of people or all of those things, those necklaces I created are really great because it just creates this almost energetic boundary in a sense.